Yeah, my stance is their community starts with communication, and I'm just copycatting that from dear Govinda Prabhu. Nima was mentioning in the group, dear Govinda Prabhu is working with exactly like these traumatic experiences that many devotees have had in the past, and that still have influence now on the current situation. And we saw examples for the Ayurveda collective that Nima shared. Yeah, the first draft of a business case, I would say, we have seen 30 to 50 millions. And there was a wide discussion about, is that really true? You mean like that much? And there were diverging opinions. Now, Harikirtan Prabhu was saying, yeah, often we do need more than we plan. And then some said, is that not a little much? Or some said, like, that is like way too much. What are you doing? So yeah, here we can get into conflict. How can we live together and make agreements based on our words, based on our trust, with having these wounds, carrying them with us? Hare Krishna. Okay, now for my personal example, I can say, and my good wife can testify, yeah, without some sort of support in terms of tools, techniques, principles in introspecting and collaborating. Maybe we would not be together in this call today. Yeah, I do feel very, very grateful for dear Govinda Prabhu, because I was in anger often in my life, not understanding why is a leader making a certain decision, and me being objected to that. Yeah, I'm just dependent on someone, and someone is making a decision and not keeping an agreement. And yeah, well, how can I raise my voice feeling hurt without hurting the other person? So that is something that can be practiced. But first it needs me to understand, well, I do react from anger, but the anger is rather controlling me than me mastering the anger. In the Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami is starting with Vachu Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Buddha Pasta Vegam, Nitan Vegam, Yuvishveta, Nidasavama, Prativim Sashishat. Yeah, like in many traditions, it's being said in the beginning was the word. And yeah, coming to self-realization, we need to start with mastering our word, and what are we creating with our word, and understanding also how are we hardwired in our mind. Everything, our whole consciousness is being built on the platform of the mind. And to control the mind, we know it's harder than controlling the wind. Okay, we can say on one hand, well, we just chant the holy name and that's it. Yeah, definitely, of course. That's true, that's valid. And as we read a couple of times, 14th February, I think, yeah, it was 14th February 1977, Srila Prabhupada is saying to the devotees when they said that, yeah, and who's chanting? Who is chanting like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So as long as I am still under the gunas, and I am, not just several times a day, but rather most of the day, I do experience the gunas, and it's up to me to mold my day in a way where I remember Krishna more and more. Now, still, how can I catch myself and see when am I under the gunas, and when am I listening to Maya instead of Krishna? So there are different ways to practice that. I would like to do some little thought exercise here. So this is what Dear Govinda is doing. It's a communication-based approach to self-realization. And it's not supposed to say, hey, let's do that instead of chanting the holy name. No, we have our process that Srila Prabhupada gave us, and now let's put some drops of oil into that machine so that it's running smoother, and we can catalyze that process by weeding some of the anarthas out of the garden of our hearts. So let's do some thought exercise. Let's say we are living in a community together. We are all living in one community now. Harikirtan, Leo, Ananta, Nimai, I, whoever else is watching now. We're living together in a community, and then someone, you meet one of those devotees, and you see the person is looking a little bit, it's looking like not having the best day, and then that person is saying, well, now I'm living at the farm. I'm living at the community. I do have some land. I do have some service that I like. I have some income, but still, the devotees are fighting. I think it's just not going to work. I don't think it's not going to work. Krishna Pradyumna Prabhu. I don't know if you have heard. I'll repeat again one sentence. Imagine we're all in a community together. You, Harikirtan, Leo, Ananta, Nimai, I, and you meet someone walking in the community, and that person is not looking very happy. And then the person is saying, I'm living at the farm. I'm living in a community. I've desired that for so long. I do have some land. I have a service that I like. I have some income, but still the devotees are fighting. I think it's just not going to work. Now, I invite you, take a moment, and you can take a pen and paper, or you can use the chat, or you can just unmute yourself, and take a moment, think about what would you respond to that person. Just not thinking what should you respond, just what's coming spontaneously. What would you say to that person? Pradyumna, yeah?
Hare Krishna.
Ananta?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, bro. So, bro, my phone was only 2%. I have just put in charge. I will just reconnect na 2 minutes. Okay, okay, bro.
All right, see you then. Ananta?
Kannst du es nochmal wiederholen? Ich war gerade mal das Brot aus dem
Oh, okay. So you asked me to repeat it.
Sorry, English.
Okay, you're living at a community. You meet one of the devotees there, and the person is saying, "Now I'm living at the farm. I'm living in a community. I have desired that for so long, and I do have some lands. I have a service that I like. I have some income, but still the devotees are fighting. I think it's just not going to work." What would you respond spontaneously to that person?
How are we supposed to say things like?
Oh,
you are waiting?
thank you. You just Yeah, so just say it as if you're speaking to the person, not like I would say this and that or justifying it. No, just the sentence or the sentences like you're speaking to the person. Imagine I'm being the person and you tell it to me.
Oh, what happened?
What happens? Okay, thank you. Yeah, what happens? Any other ideas?
Nothing. I just want to hear. So
You
usually
just want
people have usually people have the 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 base issues are different than what is the the symptom issue.
you would like to hear first.
You want to hear more and more till you get to the root issue. Then you can figure out what to do.
Okay. So okay, let's hear from others. What are other ideas? What to say? And just say the sentence, not why you're saying it. Just respond to that devotee who's saying like, yeah, now I'm living at the farm, and yeah, I have the service that I like. I have the land, but yeah, the devotees are fighting, and I think it's just not going to work.
I would say, okay, let's see. No matter what, in Kali Yuga, we're going to run into many difficulties. The disagreement is always there.
Prabhu, would you mind, Prabhu, to just speak in first person as if you're meeting the person just there in front of you?
Yeah. No, this is
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what
what
I
you're
was saying.
Okay. Yeah, many people are running into difficulties. Okay, say right.
Yeah, it's common. Like even in my own family, I will fight and disagree with my different family members. So we have to expect that there will be disagreements, there will be difficulties, and we all have to put in endeavor and effort to get along. And so I would encourage you to have some patience and let's try and work through this, and it's not going to be perfect all the time, and that actually is the only way that we can have a community, is if we don't allow disagreements or difficulties to drive us apart, to wear us out.
Yeah, patience, and yeah, we're going to work it through, and yeah, many people have those difficulties. Nothing's going to be perfect. Thank you, Harikirtan Prabhu. Any other ideas?
Yeah, okay. I would say, yeah, you're living your dream and you're at a place you always desired for, and now you are wondering why the devotees are still fighting, why there's no like happiness, and you don't know, you don't have like hope that this will work.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Ananta, and yeah, thanks for spoiling the whole game. Ananta knows this exercise. Yeah. Okay, for anyone, I see Ramananda Prabhu, and I see Gauranga Sundar Prabhu, Hari Bol, welcome Prabhujis. We're just doing a little exercise. I don't know when you came in, but the exercise goes like this. We are living all on a community, everyone here in the court. You meet the devotee in the community, and the devotee is saying, now I'm at the farm, I'm living in a community, I do have some land, I have a service that I like, some income, but still the devotees are fighting. I think it's just not going to work. Now, the idea is you respond to the person in first person as if you see the person. If you have something coming that spontaneously to you, you can join in here. Pradyumna, Prabhu?
Yeah, bro. Hare Krishna, Dharnath Purnam. So, bro, if I find someone like this, I will first tell him that.
Would you like saying it? Would you like saying it?
I will directly say like this that when we have some higher goal when we have some higher goal, then we have to leave our some small goals on what we call. So just like this is the best place, farm community, where we can cultivate Krishna consciousness best way, because everything will be very fine there. So still, if you are finding some problems, problems will be more outside. So better try to keep our consciousness more better, so that the small thing will not affect you. Better work on your what you are working, and what are the practices like Krishna conscious activities. So if you focus on it, then you will be not affected by the smaller problems like this.
Okay. Thank you, Pradyumna Prabhu. Anything else? Ramananda Prabhu or Gauranga Sundar Prabhu?
Prabhu, can you pretend like you are that person again?
Yes, I am. I am.
What seems to be the problem?
You're asking, and like if going into dialogue, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No, but
at,
I heard that you're a little bit upset about something.
Thank you, Ramananda Prabhu. Like for the sake of the exercise, I'm not going into the dialogue. I would love to role play that with you. And, okay, so yeah, then okay, let's have a look at these answers now from a perspective of
Gauranga Sundar Prabhu is also there.
yes. If he wants to say something, I don't want to.
Maybe Prabhu, you could just repeat what so I have it fresh, and I won't demand a dialogue with you. Just
okay. No worries. I didn't want to repeat it like for the 7th time to not bore anyone, but I'm
so
happy
sorry.
to.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's going to be richer if we all share. I'm very happy you are spontaneously willing to interact there. So and it's so real also. Yeah, it could happen at any time in the community. Yeah, okay. Someone you meet the devotee, and the devotee is saying, now I'm living at the farm. I'm at the community. I do have some land. I have a service that I like. I have some income, but still the devotees are fighting. I think it's just not going to work.
Oh. So you're living here in the community. You really like it. You've got a service you really like. You're making some good money, and everything is perfect. Practically everything should be perfect. And somehow, in spite of all the perfection, there's fighting all the time.
Thank you, Ramananda Prabhu. Of course, if Gauranga Sundar Prabhu wants to add something, then that's a good time. And otherwise, I'll
Leo Prabhu.
Oh yes, Leo Prabhu, sure. I did not. Yes, okay. Okay, no one has to. So now let's look at the answers, not from a point of judging what's good, what's bad, or this is the best solution. No, we're just looking at it from a point of meta language. Okay, so meta perspective where we focus on what is the underlying message that we send with that with the response, and yeah, not judging the content of it, no matter if we agree or disagree, like the type of communication that we are using here. So what would that be in terms of when we have some higher goal, then we leave the smaller goals and just focus on your work, focus on Krishna consciousness. what kind of a reply would there be? What is the underlying message here?
What is the underlying message that we want to convey?
No, what is the underlying message of this response when we say, okay, when we have some higher goal, then leave the smaller goals aside and just focus on your work and focus on Krishna consciousness. What would that be? Maybe it would be like, yeah, giving an advice.
Right. The underlying message is that maybe is it that your concerns aren't valid and you just have to sort of dismiss it and try to transcend?
Might be like, yeah, it's like, okay, then just transcend it. It's maybe a little bit like preaching. What would it be in the case of, many people, they run into difficulties and nothing going to be perfect, and we have to expect that. Just have patience. Yeah. What would the underlying message here be?
Your problems aren't your problems aren't really very special or unique. It's everybody goes through things, and you shouldn't really be all that concerned.
Maybe like, it's just a little bit like minimizing, interpreting, judging, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
I can see
your
how
concerns aren't really worthy of special consideration, like, because they're not that unique. They're not unique to you.
I can see how that could be understood in that way. The intention, though, of bringing that up is that these concerns are not. We shouldn't let them derail, the goal here.
Yes.
That,
yes.
that this is not so uncommon that any project that we are involved in, this is likely to happen. And so, leaving the project and going somewhere else is not going to eliminate these problems. This is something that comes along with the age. And so, not the idea of minimizing somebody's experience, but just that, we shouldn't think that we can escape this kind of difficulty by going somewhere else.
Yeah. Yes.
My question is that why are we assuming it is a problem of that devotee?
Well, replying to Kirtan Prabhu, first, I do understand that's not your intention, and you see, it could be understood like that, and from a rational place, yes, it's like that. And Nima Prabhu, you're saying, why are we assuming it's a problem of that person? What do you mean with it's a problem?
Is that unless we come to know what the problem is, maybe there is somebody just creating problem, like envious person, or maybe there is a structural issue, or the leader is creating problem. I mean, it's not like why do we assume and advise as if it is that person's problem that they
Yes. You need to understand the root cause. Like in any conflict or problem, you're going to the root cause. And Gauranga Sundar Prabhu replied in the chat, devotees are always fighting. Better to ignore and focus on your sevas if you can't resolve the differences. But if one is a leader of the community, then one has to resolve the issues before it gets out of hand. And also, he is writing further, I have young devotees, young in Krishna consciousness with me. I'm whole day resolving it as I feel as a leader, it's my responsibility to resolve it. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, you're in the position to solve those issues. And here, like before we open up to go deeper on how is this relevant? The other replies, like there were replies like, what happened? what happened? Yeah, there could be some interest. There could be some interest, and also, yeah, it could be like someone could think like, oh, if you ask like a couple of those questions, what happened, and you continue to ask what for the root cause, it could be like the underlying message comes across as you're interviewing. Yeah, you're like in the seat of the detective, and you're finding the problem there.
Like
And
interrogating.
interrogating, exactly, interrogating. And did anyone here go to Dear Govinda's Sattvatov's seminars? Did you go, Ramananda?
No, I did not, but I thankfully Ananta Shakti Mataji or no. Yeah, reminded me. But I read the book Relationships That Work. I got the gist, you know.
Yeah. Okay, you read that book, and yeah, in that book there is this exact exercise. So
it's the idea was to try to repeat what you've understood, so that they feel like they're understood, and then help them to feel like they can begin to elaborate more and more on their on what the root of the problem may be.
Yeah, it's like what you or Ananta did. Like, yeah, you're living in the community, and yeah, you said something like you're earning well, you're good money, and all should be good, and yeah, it isn't. So what is happening then? Like from a rational perspective, when I'm with managers and speaking about conflict management, we go to what's the root of the conflict, and then what is happening to de-escalate, and also we go to emotional intelligence, and we go to empathy. Yeah, we go to how to listen in the mode of sattva. The three modes, they are being applied to how to listen in the mode of tamas. Like, how could that look like? Listening in the mode of tamas? Any examples, any ideas?
You are at fault.
Yeah, maybe that's already in the mode of rajas. It's a little provocative, like finger pointing.
Not listening.
Not listening, yeah. What did you say? Yeah, just not being like very attentive. Oh yeah, Gauranga Sundara is writing, having good ear is a quality of a good leader. Hear all sides and then find a solution. Yes, like that is the idea in like conflict management. You hear both sides before you decide anything, and yeah, you ask the questions. And in an emotionally charged situation, it is said that it's a little bit like someone is drowning. Yeah, emotionally, someone is like in a situation like drowning, and that person only wants to breathe. Yeah, if you have any trauma, for example, yeah, and someone is saying some words about you. Like in your childhood, you have been abused, or some leader has promised something and not done. Then in the future, if this is coming up, I feel not listened to. I get a feeling that, oh yeah, I always made that experiences in community. They always fail. In the end, the devotees are still all fighting. It's never going to work. Then I might have. Okay, so you're coming back in. Hey, Sudha Sattva Prabhu, Hari Hari Bol. Yeah, I might immediately go to that place emotionally where I cannot think clearly. Yeah, my emotions are too high, and then my rational mind is not functioning perfectly. So in that situation, what we can do to help someone, to help someone who feels like life is difficult, and this I have now moved to this community, it's not working, then this person might not be interested at all in someone solving the problems of that person. That person wants to be understood first. Retreat, reflect, react. Gauranga Sundara is saying, can be resolved with care and willing to hear. Mode of goodness hearing. And Nima Pandit Prabhu is saying, finding solution means to first of all discover what's the problem with me, the leader, structure, policy, example, previous instructions, fair relationships. I can't see the other, fair decision making, etc., etc. Mostly, if it is the problem with us as so-called leaders, most of the problems will be resolved if I could have done this better. Wonderful. It's an honor to be with personalities like Gauranga Sundar Prabhu and Nima Pandit Prabhu who think like that in a leadership position, and just from the perspective of listening in terms of communication. Community, it starts with communication. We need to make agreements. We need to look at our personal attitude. We need to introspect, and all of this is working on the platform of the mind and our language, our words. So listening in the mode of sattva, it is starting with me being patient, not wanting to fix the other person. It's starting with me believing in the other person is an expert in their life. The other person, a soul, perfect and complete. Every situation is perfect and complete. And I'm not in control to fix the other person. The other person has everything to solve this problem. And the other person has their lenses. The other person has their glasses. Like, I saw Pradyumna, you wanted to say something. I'll get back to it. Like, how often, like my wife and I, we mean good. We both mean very good, and we do misunderstand each other. It is happening. We are in different bodies, male and female. It can happen, and also different cultures, and so many things can cause that. Our upbringing, our experiences, our trauma, all of that can lead to misunderstanding, someone saying something to us. We misunderstand the message in deciphering, deconstructing the message, and then there can be conflict. So in this communication-based approach to self-realization, it's all starting with reflective listening. Why? Not just that the other person feels like we understand them, but we sincerely endeavor to step into the perspective of the other person, to see the world from their perspective. Because if I have some solution, I often think I have a good solution for my wife, and it's like, hey, Ananta, here, I understand you cannot see properly. Please, here, take my glasses, and then look through them into the world, and everything will be perfect. You just need to see the world as I see it. So the underlying message there is like, you are not capable. You don't have the ability to connect to Krishna. I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, yeah? And helping the other person to be a mirror for them, to reflect to them back what they are saying, not just with speaking like a parrot, but doing it in a way where we enter the world of the other person emotionally with our own words. Then the other person has a chance to see what's the dust on the mirror of the heart. So that is something that is usually better understood by doing it experientially. Yeah, so when we do that for community workshops and communication, it's like 3-hour workshops. Yeah, and to get to the topic of what Nima Pandit Prabhu is setting as the theme for today, and the context of Varnashram colleges and communities, the trauma, I would say a little more, and I want to get back to Pradyumna first.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, just I recall that just like na problem is happening na. So three kind of problems there can be, just like problems from the problems from my mind and my body. Just like I'm thinking too much, and that, and the other problem is from other devotees or other persons living in the farm, and third one, and just like na it's a very severe cold is there. Example, I cannot bear that na adi devik adi bhautik adi atmi. So just like for my mind and for my body, for my mind na, I have to consult, I have to read more, huh? That then that can be corrected. And in case of other devotees, some other person is giving me problem, some issue, then there must be some authority, GBC or whatever we can consult, then can be problem can be solved. And adi devika adi atmik na, and just these things. So we have to see what kind of problem na, that devotees have. If he's having his mental problem, he's not able to stay in that, then he should be encouraged by other that na, that farm life is the best life. He can cultivate Krishna consciousness best. And the second thing, if other person, somebody is creating problem or he is having some issue, then there is authority. Adi Devi, Adi Atmik, like this. We have to see what problem is there, and then problems can be easily solved.
Yes, yeah, you're going to where Nima Pandit went to. Yeah, like what's the root cause? Is someone? Yeah, is it a problem from outside, or like my body, my mind, or is it from something bigger like nature? Nima Prabhu, yeah.
How to solve a problem which has trauma? Because that's something I don't know what to do. Because it is kind of unpredictable in terms of how our mind works. It is very logical for a devotee with trauma. Trauma means the mind is acting in a way which is not normal, like
Irrational.
what we think, but for them it is very rational.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
here in that context, so dear Govinda Prabhu, he's not using the word trauma. And I don't know if he believes in trauma or not. That's a good question to discuss with him. And I think he is speaking with leaders in that field, like Gabor Mate or so, that go into like trauma very, very deeply. So as you say, it's unpredictable, it's irrational, and then here comes in that reflective listening, mirroring, entering the world of the other person, then we meet them where they are at. It's like, let's say you have like an onion with several layers of problems. So the first we need to do is pick the first layer, the outer layer. We need to pick the first layer, and we cannot see it with our lenses, with our glasses. I cannot see now what is the issue of my wife not understanding me. Oh, she's not understanding me. I can feel insulted, offended, and the surefire thing what that works is I listen and understand what actually is the thinking. What's the thinking of the other person, and why is the other person feeling bad, is feeling offended? Maybe I touched on some values. I touched on some agreements that we had in the past. I don't know, but the other person can figure out. So I help the other person to help herself.
So, like the problem is that I'm going to keep using the word trauma till I hear otherwise. Why there is no trauma? Because I've experienced so many people with let's say child abuse or with husband abuse or even wife abuse or parents abuse or teacher abuse or this and that issues they went through. So that causes like bending of the mind in a way which is not like rational thoughts according to people
Yeah.
normally which people go through regular.
Mhm.
And there is some bend like some mind bend, like it kind of skips the thought processes like like logical way of thinking. It
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
into so becomes so because it's so unique to each person,
Mhm.
so difficult to understand where it will lead the next day because of it's like you can't predict it.
Yeah. So when you say that, yeah, I'm thinking of Krishna telling to Arjuna like how it works that we have some expectation, it's not met, yeah, some attachment not fulfilled, and then anger comes and forgetfulness, and then there's craziness, yeah, like and I don't want to minimize trauma at all. Just the term trauma, it can cause that we think, oh, there's something defective about a person. And what Freud and other psychologists implemented in the world, the current system of psychology is like, okay, here, take some pills. We cannot fix you. Just subdue your mind, and then everything is good. But you go into an institution and out of society, you cannot function. And then it's psychotherapy, like tens of years of psychotherapy, and nothing happens. And here, this approach, it's working more based on, okay, what do we have right now? And what's your choices? What to do with it? Like, get as much experience as possible about this human experience. There are so many difficulties, so many disturbances from outside, from inside. There's old age, disease, and this and that. So, how can I respond? How can I respond to them and move on further? And that is based on the willingness of a person to sincerely introspect and understand how is my body, my machine, my vehicle, how is it working, how is it functioning, and snapping out, and sometimes lashing out in this way or lashing out in that way. What is it about? Where's the psychosis? Where's the trauma coming from? It's good to understand, but more important is, what am I going to do with it? And there's the stance of like 108% responsibility. Yes, there's something you can do about it. Har Kirtan Prabhu.
Yeah, I just was curious. I think this is a very interesting discussion, but I am curious, what is the necessary applicability of figuring out how to solve,
Of what?
this
Excuse me?
difficulty.
Ah,
Excuse me, it's a little noisy. Kind of
necessity
how
of what is the necessity of solving these difficulties? You say like they are so hard to solve.
No, not that they
or
are so hard, but that, like Nima is bringing up about trauma that people may go through. And I understand that is important, but in the discussion of forming a community, is this important that these issues are addressed by everyone in the community? Or is this because I don't see the community's job or purpose as necessarily being a place or a vehicle to help people deal with their traumas? I see that this is kind of a cross purpose. There will be people within the community who will have that capacity and that that will be their, their function, that they help assist people with that. But on a whole, as a larger, greater community, which is kind of how I see this discussion. We're all talking about, this in a group setting here, and I do see that these are important discussions. But I'm just curious whether or not this is really, kind of really something that needs to be addressed on a community.
Yeah.
Kind of, is it appropriate? Like those that are trained, we don't advise people who have trauma to go and just talk with anybody, to just talk with, we direct them that, here, you should talk with somebody who can help you work through this, that is trained in this. They're a professional. They understand this. They're, because that's an appropriate format and person and arrangement to discuss, your difficulties that you're facing. The initial question of the devotee who's struggling because of fighting, I see that as being valuable and important to the discussion of a community. But when it comes into the arena of personal trauma, I see that as it starts to shift into a different, the approach and the who you would talk with begins to change. I see that as a little different. That's just my perspective, how I see it. And so I'm curious what your thoughts, all of your thoughts, are on this.
Yeah, if anyone has any response to Hari Kirtan Prabhu, any thoughts on this?
Well, I feel the reason I wanted to bring this up is because so many years I've been trying to develop communities, and invariably I come across these issues, and it becomes very tough to like, these are not like resolved just by, oh, you are great, I will listen to you, I will listen to the problem, and that's it, and let's work together. It's not a communication problem. It is a disease problem. Like a mind also has diseases, no? In Ayurveda, it's called manorog. It is manorog, mind's problems, mind's diseases. There is a whole methodology, science behind how to cure or fix or mind's diseases. And it's not like somebody gets sick physically in the community, like cold and cough and everything, then people understand, okay, cough, cold, can't do this, can't do that, let me help, like that. And the leader understands, okay, also this is a problem, so let us overcome it, let somebody else can do it for the time being. And or there's a back problem, so let me not give that service to him. But he's a valuable member of the community. Just because someone has a knee problem or a back problem, you don't say, no, you don't want to, be part. So now similarly, the manorog, the mind's diseases, are not able to be seen or recognized. Instead, people think they're crazy, and that we don't need to deal with that. It, like in back pain, the primary responsibilities of the person to fix one's own back pain, but there is, without support and help, it's difficult, no?
Yeah.
And similarly, the manorog too. How do we deal with it? It just to come, that communication that this person has issues, just like the body issues, likewise mind issues, and then how to deal with it, uh, like in the overall thing. Like Hari Kirtan Prabhu, it's not like if there is a serious back pain, we can't fix it. Doctor has to fix it. But somebody drives them, somebody takes care. Okay, well, while you're doing it, I can cook, and don't do that. So that's a community dealing. No?
No, I think you're bringing up a good. I think you're kind of I agree with what you're saying. This is like echoing that. You have a back pain, you have various bodily pains. The doctor is the one who is able to help you with this. You don't just go to anybody, you know. So in the same way, with a mental problem, with a injury of the mind or the consciousness, you know, then you have to work with someone who can help you to heal that as well. You know, and this is one of the very valuable services that I see that the Brahmanas, those of a Brahminical mindset, those of that temperament, they can help provide for the community. It's I think it's a very important thing to deal with, you know. But I guess what I'm bringing up is just that there is a forum and a place and a time for dealing with those personal things, and that has to be very carefully addressed, because the deeper the injury or the difficulty, the deeper whatever one is going through, then the more respectful and carefully those that are working with them have to be prepared to address it. And so, I see that there will be difficulties if the community is trying to address this on a community level. It can be very challenging and may not be so productive. So that's kind of
there's such a
Thank you, Hari
There's such a thing
Kirtan.
as preventive medicine. Preventive medicine means you live in such a way that you remove the possibility of sickness by living in harmony with nature and don't take toxic medications, food, or influences from the modern karmi society. If we live healthy the way me and my husband do, you don't get sick. I don't ever get sick, ever. I'm always in a great mood. I sleep well, no problems. But we are in a toxic system, taking toxic so-called medicine, toxic GMO, fake food from Monsanto, and people are eating disgusting things. That's why they're unhealthy. So if you have a good way of living, you don't get sick. You don't need to solve anything because you prevent it from happening.
Happy to see you and Somagiri Prabhu joining. And I saw there was Ramananda Prabhu unmuting before Nimai Prabhu said something, and then Gauranga Sundara raised the hand.
What's your point?
Krishna Prabhu?
Prabhu, were you referring to something I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw you unmuted before Nimai said something. Yes.
Okay. No. Yeah. I was just going to say. I think Nimai Pandit Prabhu just not that we're specifically addressing anything, but just Nimai Prabhu wanted to open up the discussion just for like consultation on how to address these in the future. Not that
actually,
not that it's the responsibility of everybody to get involved on any specific individual. It's not the responsibility of the whole village to get involved in every little problem. But I think this is just a sort of like a consultation for leadership, is what I understood. So he just wanted to be able to go through this, to hear from you or the devotees and how to address this. If I'm not mistaken. So I think
I think it was Hari Kirtan asking how to address this. Like, it's a precarious situation, and is it not easier, better, the more appropriate way, as Nimai also said, to have a professional work with that? What is the way of doing that? Just a little response. I see many have joined. Panku Sri Chaitanya Sampradaya and Rancho has joined, and I see Gauranga Sundara has the hand up. Yeah, I understand that Dear Govinda, he's offering several formats. He's training people to deal with this, like that's a profession, and some do with counseling or coaching, he's calling it. So to support someone with like a series of sessions of going deep into, okay, what's the assumptions, what's the belief, what's the hurt, and there are techniques to let go of the hurt if one wants to, and what's my assumptions? I'm not worthy, or there might be misunderstandings, misconceptions, and to go to them, it is like Gauranga Sundar Prabhu wrote in the chat, on trauma, one will only open to person to whom one has confidence in. So I didn't want to minimize that when I said reflective listening, mirroring. It's like entering, and it's like one little tool of like a whole book, and there's more like a safe space, like in Florida, there's like a 3-day workshop going into the basics, and then after that, in January, there's a 7-day workshop in just focusing deeply on those topics. Gauranga Sundar Prabhu.
Yeah, I want to make the point that for personal trauma, one will only open and should open to a person whom he can confide in. Otherwise, if you just open to anyone thinking he's a leader, then I can guarantee 100% that before you reach home, your trauma will be all over the place. You're going to say, oh, this person is suffering from this trauma, that trauma, and that'll be more traumatic for you. So one should only open to a person who he has full confidence on him and who is, ready to really help him, not just take advantage of the trauma. So it could be professional, it could be his friend or anyone, but he should only confide to that person whom he can trust completely, and the person also should be should be such a person who can really help him genuinely, not just take advantage
And
of
we
him.
need to structure society so that there's a system of checks and balances so that no self-motivated jerk can take advantage of other innocent people's faith. And everybody is cross-referenced within the context of an interdependent community. That means no pedophilia, no embezzlement, no cheating, high quality control of products that are made. Everything is accountable, 100% accountable. Prabhupada made this point over and over and over again. Complete transparency on every level, and everybody's protected that way, inside and outside both.
That is the
Continue.
point I was trying to make, why the community is important for community to understand the traumas. Because the issue is not just with one person or how I deal with it. What are you going to tell the child, that, oh, it is your problem, you should deal with it. We will teach you how to learn, how to handle. It shouldn't have
Yeah.
happened in the first place. No?
Yeah.
It's okay because it has happened. Now what to do is all right. This is the right way to do it. But why did it happen in the first place?
Yes.
And second thing is how people otherwise what happens is people, if they don't understand in the community, it's not just the professionals, or let's give it to the professionals. I was giving the example of when there is a back pain, it's not just, just send him to the doctor and let's forget about it. You have to do something, no? Because that person can't walk properly. Maybe he needs food to be brought to him, and his service for 10 days somebody else needs to take care, or his income is going low, so let's help him with the community. I mean, like, community is required to help the person overcome it as a support system, not that they will step in to cure his disease, but the other things are there needed to in the environment in which that that thing can be cured. And
Yeah. And like Rupa Manjari said, like the perfect leadership of the protection needs to be there, and and as you say, Nima Prabhu, I get you say what is actually needed, what do we need to consider, and what are the ingredients that a community needs to deal with trauma, and not just
Can you turn on
there's someone unmuted, and what do we need to deal with trauma? And you don't mean like the outer perimeters, like the extreme trauma, but general traumas. What comes to my mind, I recently spoke to someone who's very dear to me, a devotee that mentored me in my early years of reading Bhagavad Gita, and I said something to him on a messenger, and he like totally misunderstood it, and he reacted in a way where it's obvious there's something from his past coming through, and And there's a misunderstanding, but now he had lost trust in me because he thinks I'm judging about him in a way that totally is not my word, but just with little words. Yeah, there can be distrust. So how can we create trust? How can we create understanding? I get that is where you're going, Nima?
I mean, there is a support system required for any disease to be cured. And mind's diseases are also monorog. There is a disease. Just like body has diseases, mind also can get
But
disease.
which mind is not diseased? My mind is diseased, otherwise I would not be here.
We also need a system of punishment for criminals. That way people know if you rape a child, beat a woman, cheat, steal, lie, you get punished for it. Then others will say, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow the rules. That's law and order.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
that's very much true. So all these are there, but on your point of which mind is not diseased, just like that, our bodies, who is really healthy, but we are able to function one way. How do you say normal? Everybody can function it. Similarly, minds, when they are diseased, we are chanting, you can kind of keep it together. But for many devotees, it's not possible sometimes. The mind, they can't because it's just too diseased. I don't know why somebody is saying that. I mean, monorog is a disease, mind's disease. This is a whole thing about in Ayurveda. There's so many issues are described there, how mind can.
Mhm.
So I don't, because we are souls and we have two bodies. No, there's a subtle body and a gross body. Both can get disease, so there is no difference. No, it's just one is more subtle disease, another is gross disease.
So you're saying it's a physical thing, so there needs to be like mechanical and expert support, to deal with
Professional support,
subtle body,
community support too.
community support.
And
Maybe
understand.
Gauranga Sundar or Hari Kirtan have something to respond to that?
Varanga Sundar Prabhu, he had his hand up first, so please.
Gauranga Sundar Prabhu?
No, that was previously I put my hand up. So it's,
Okay.
No, I just wanted to say, I hear what you're saying about the community support, Nimai. I agree completely that it's not just the doctor or the physician or the counselor or this or that have to help. The community should step in for sure. They have to understand and have compassion and assist with the healing of whatever it is, whether it's physical or subtle. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's important. But there is a differentiation between the levels of involvement in the care and healing. And then I wanted to also bring up, I hear coming up now and again different ideas about ways that we can prevent problems and prevent trauma and challenges. And I think that's important to put things in place in a community to prevent as much as possible. But this is Kali Yuga. We are all conditioned souls, and we're in this material world for a reason. And so we will not be able to prevent all problems. There will always be terrible things that happen in this material world. And I have worked with various CPT bodies and community management groups, and the difficulty is you can never prevent everything. Everybody has their private lives and things go on that people don't know about until later. Things come to light and it's already happened. So what I have found, and I'm still always learning more and more, so please share with me your thoughts. But what I have found is that apart from doing what we can to prevent difficulty and conflict and abuse and such like that in a community, how it is dealt with after the fact is equally as important, if not more important. And that can lead to greater problems if it's not dealt with properly. If things are not responded to properly, if they are ignored or swept under the rug or minimized, this can cause great problems within a community as well. So it comes back to that, building that trust and having that trust within a community, that you can trust the members of the community to support you. You can trust them to deal with things properly. So, like Rupa Manjari Mataji was saying about punishments and consequences, that is very important, that there's a proper response to, when we see behavior has is not correct. There should be a very not necessarily swift, but yeah, strict and clear response. It doesn't always have to be punishment, but definitely some things require that. And so that is I've seen communities torn apart because things were not dealt with properly, and it's not even the people that were harmed by the event directly. It's just people watching how it was dealt with from the side. Ruins people's trust in the community and in management and in administration. And so, that is very, very important. So that's just what comes to mind hearing this discussion.
Thanks, Kirtan, Prabhu, to become specific in what is needed there. Pradyumna, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu. Just like Nimai Prabhu, you were telling that na Manoro. Just like we read that na Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Chai, Partarya. They are always giving trouble. Na? We have these layers in our heart. So this mind, we can have some patchwork like leadership, or we can help them. But ultimately that na Manoro can be just like Shavanam, Kirtanam. As we do more, because everybody is more or less diseased by that mental problem. Because all of a sudden something come in mind. But ultimately the solution will be that na Shavanam bas, this mantra, Shavanam, Kirtanam, when we read books, when we hear, when we get the higher thing, na, that is the problem. So ultimately that will be the
Can I address that 1 minute? So just like, see, we have two bodies. We have to equate them in every way. There are two bodies, subtle body and gross body. We are souls. Well, our consciousness thinks we are this body, and hence we get affected by them, thinking we are them. To the degree that we are thinking we are these bodies, to those degrees these things don't act. Just like Charnamrita says, any disease you have, you take Charnamrita, gone. But why do we go to doctors? Or prasadam, same way. All the diseases can be removed just by taking prasadam. Why do you go to take medicine? Every problem we have, the physical like gross body problem, we take medicine, we do this, so many things, eat food like this, so many things. We just don't chant Hare Krishna or just take prasadam or Charnamrita. No? So similarly, the subtle body also goes through problems. And the modern psychiatrists, they are trying to dull the mind, which is not the right method. Ayurveda has many ways to purify the mind, and that Aushadhis are there for that too. There are mantra Aushadhi also, just like Neera Govinda Prabhu is saying, but that is not, he has done his PhD in that, or he does his something. But there is these Aushadhis are there, like these herbs are also there, food, every lifestyle, so many things are there to purify the mind, to cure it. There are many ways. It's not just chant Hare Krishna mantra and that's it.
not only Hare Krishna, wait, just like not that 0 and 100 na. Okay, at least we are little bit na. We are not this. We are body also. So we have to take care body also. but that na with the same, just like precaution, doctor gives one medicine and one precaution. So in precautionary measure we can do the things, but ultimately the solution will be like na we have to keep then consciousness. We have to work on consciousness. So that will just like Prabhat says that na material well-being is followed by spiritual well-being. So if we are spiritually, if we keep ourselves up to date, na the material things automatically follow that.
So two things are count off. You what you're saying is 100% correct. Sorry, Bharat Prabhu, that we have to take the Hare Krishna mantra as the main thing, you know. But to chant Hare Krishna mantra also, it become the mind can create obstacle. Just like when our body is diseased, you know, when I am so diseased, I can barely chant. So similarly, the mind also, when it is diseased, it is tough to chant. And just chant. But how? You see, it's just like another body on top of us. So
How,
yeah, please go on, Prabhu. Yeah.
how was the order that Srila Prabhupada put in Hawaii in the kitchen, like health, and then came seva, and then came chanting. I don't know exactly the order, but he put health first because there was something in this order. No? Yeah, how can you chant?
That's the Ayurveda principle that health is the basis. I forget the verse, but health is the basis for dharma, artha, kama, moksha.
So yeah, the language, it's reflecting consciousness. So through our language, we get a powerful tool to understand in which consciousness am I, just by being trained to listen well to the mind. So to say, to be in a third perspective, narrator position to ourselves and to experience what's going on with our body, not to identify with it, as you say in Nimai Prabhu. So Dear Govinda's book, he's like, it's completely built to support us understanding, realizing, like real gyan, like applied knowledge, where we understand we are not this body. I am not this pain. I am not this hurt from the past. It's there. I experience it. And how do I deal with it? So for a community, like Hari Kirtan is saying, when we ignore something, then this can lead to bigger problems. Yeah, ignorance, we know it's sattvic, and then in the beginning it might be easy to not deal with the problem, and here's a conflict, and yeah, it's not a big deal. We don't speak about it. Maybe I'm afraid that there's a bigger conflict coming from speaking about it. And then later it comes again. It comes again. So how can we build this dependability? It starts with structures, like when there comes the punishment or consequences. Of course, there's also a way dealing with consequences in a sattvic way, where the rules and the consequences are clear, or there's whimsical punishment, and there are different tools and techniques that organizations use, that communities use, how to build strong agreements, strong constitutions, and Rupa Manjari Prabhu saying the interdependence. Dear Govinda, he's writing and training on how to build on independence first. Yeah, if we are dependent, then we cannot be interdependent. To be interdependent, we first need to be independent. So we need to learn to organize ourselves and to be self-driven. But how can we do that in a community, especially if we think, oh, as a devotee, I'm supposed to be humble, and no, as a spiritual person, I'm not angry. So we might push these feelings away, like Rupa Manjari. So we first need to identify that. We need to be honest to ourselves. We need courageous introspection to see what are the weeds in my heart, what are the anarthas that I carry, and build on that. Yeah, the
But
relationship.
that's a self-negating attitude. I don't
A
share that self-negating attitude.
A self-what attitude?
Self-negating.
What would be a self-negating attitude?
I'm so full of flaws. I'm so
Yeah.
fallen. I'm such a piece of crap. I'm such a
Yeah.
demon. I'm such a rascal. I'm so incapable. That's called self-negating. That means you shoot
Yeah.
yourself in your own face with a gun. That's what that is.
Yeah, it can be like in so many ways all what we learn, and especially in the institution, many of us got their traumas in temples because they misunderstood, or maybe the leaders they misapplied some principles, something from Shastra, and then we in the end we end up and we think like Shastra is not good, or what Prabhupada said is not good. So we maybe throw out the baby with the bathtub, so to say. So I need to leave in a few minutes.
Can you tell us about what Dhira Govinda Prabhu just gave a little introduction, no? Like what he does?
Well,
Help people with traumas.
like yeah, what I'm doing in a few minutes. In a few minutes, I'm preparing for a workshop that's running in like in 1 hour, and there we go through like 2.5 hours of applying the techniques that he has in his book. So if you're interested to understand that, you can anytime read the book, and then you get a bunch of tools and techniques that help husband and wife and father and son to connect better with less misunderstanding. So to say, just come to the basic level of communication with less misunderstanding, but then also to introspect and to see where am I having these self-defeating rackets, like Rupa Manjari was saying, or these self-limiting beliefs. Yeah, as a spirit spark, we are eternally powerful. We can never be covered. We can never be burned or dissolved in water. So we can only be covered. But now the tools there are first some tools of listening and speaking in a way, speaking in a sattvic way, passive, aggressive, assertive. So to identify, to see where am I going to aggressive mode, where am I in passive mode regularly, and then the anger is building up, and then I'm saying things in a way that is more harsh than I intended. So how can I change these things where I see there are anarthas, but I never could pull them in a way actively? So how can I actively approach those anarthas? And then going into more advanced skills of communication and psychology, to understand my own mind and to have more understanding for others, to shape an attitude that helps us to get to an interdependent place. There's a 3-day seminar, like in Florida in January. I'm going to co-facilitate with some others. And then there's a 7-day advanced seminar where like you go into these trauma topics for oneself. And you might say, I don't need this, but this has been done in Bangalore. In Bangalore with 80 devotees, and Dhira Govinda has been more often there. But with, I think, 80 devotees, 3 seminars, one after another, where there were marvelous results for some of those managers that said like, oh my God, only now I understand really what is being meant in Bhagavad Gita, and how I have been cheating myself, things like that.
How exactly does it work, like trauma-wise? Like what does his techniques do to help that?
What's the question was?
Trauma,
How
like real root, like real core issues that one may be having, which is causing one to feel very disturbed, and like mind's diseases. How does it techniques help?
How do they help? Well, they help first to just deal with a person like that without getting offended oneself, without getting angry oneself, and helping the person to help the person oneself, not thinking I need to fix the person. And then there's a whole training that one can do. There's a 1-year training one can do over 1 year that is full with like these.
Not for helping and not for training, but just to help oneself.
To help oneself?
One has to
Oh,
training
as a
point.
leader,
No, just for one suffering. Let's say somebody wants to
it's
recommend.
individual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
individual. What do they need to do to help oneself?
It's a very broad question, and it would need to be looked at a
Does he do personal sessions, or is that
yeah, yes, of course. Like the
an advanced session? Those advanced courses that you are talking about, those also help, which are in community.
yes, like my wife did that. Like, for example, we have been in Florida. My wife was very unhappy and thinking, like, we are alone here. We have no one to go to. We have no home. Now we are poor. We're living in an RV. And she was feeling very, very unhappy. I was feeling super in bliss because we are in a devotee community and yeah. So now at that point, my wife and I, we had some struggles there, and like, yeah, I remember it was my birthday. Normally on my birthday, my wife makes a cake or something like that. Not that I demand it, but it's habit, right? So, and my wife, she was not happy with the situation at all, and I said something needs to change, and then we met the devotees, and my wife went to such a course, yeah. So for 3 days she did that because she was desperate. She wanted to look at where are my own shadows, where is something that I need to change? How can I change it? She wanted to change something. She went to the 3 day seminar and then she went to the 7 day seminar. And I think that is the reason why we are still married. Not that I would have ever left her. And there was constant misunderstanding and problems. And now we don't have that. We misunderstand each other, but it's not like a week of misunderstanding or something carrying in the heart constantly. It's like, okay, there's a misunderstanding, and we see, hey, there's that dynamic again, and we can speak about it, and we can come back to a sattvic level much more quickly, and we can understand, okay, this was your trauma, this is my trauma, and so it's a bunch of tools that you can get in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain and easy to experience. Yeah, I'm happy for anyone who wants to look into some sort of a issue one has at the moment, even it's small or something traumatic. I'm happy to be with anyone in a one-on-one session and to give an experience of how that feels like to be in a session where someone is supporting you fully with applying these tools, and then also giving options and opportunities how to do it in a self-learning way, where you take a book and you learn the tools, you raise your awareness, you raise your consciousness about your own past wounds and how they play out, and you go through the pain, you go through the suffering, the sadness, and you let it go instead of ignoring it, and it stays in the background and drives one's behavior. Hare Krishna, Nitya, Gopal, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All Srila Prabhupada, all the devotees, Hare Krishna.
My humble obeisances unto you, and yeah, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I'm leaving, wishing you a
Now Nitya Gopal here as replacement. Huh? So
pardon.
thank you very much, Bharat Prabhu. Very, very nice and very appreciative what you did. And I know you have to leave, but now Nitya Gopal Prabhu is there to take the baton and explain to us.
Yeah, I appreciate your trust, Prabhu, and you encouraged me to take dear Govinda's teachings and support communities. So I think of doing that later, going to communities and do workshop with them, so that they all in the community have those tools and have some awareness. And then it would be helpful, supportive, as Hari Kirtan Prabhu said, if there's someone who's a little bit more trained in in these tools, principles to keep the space and to support the whole group continuously to get together in Ishtar-Goshti and in an individual way. I just saw that two devotees from Abenteuer, Germany, they were in a course that we did in Switzerland, and they had a serious issue, a very serious issue, and they got into a conflict diet where one person was facilitating that, and it was wonderful to observe how this got resolved. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu. Nitya Gopal Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Pranam Prabhu. Prabhu, is it possible? We've been discussing, and I haven't been. I don't know if I understand clearly. How can what actually does? How does it act through the philosophy of Srila Prabhupada? What does Dhira Govinda Prabhu do to help with monorogs?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have experienced all his courses, and I have gone through all his PPTC training, all his different seminars. Also, I have staffed in so many seminars. So, what I understand from him is basically his teachings. It is all coming from Srila Prabhupada's purport. That's the most fascinating things about this. So, in psychology, personal transformation, there exists two type of philosophy. One type of philosophy is that we are nothing, in the sense that we can create anything what we want. We are like a blank slate, which is more of a Buddhist philosophy. So more of a personal transformation coaches and these psychologists, they all come from Buddhist philosophy in terms of creating something or nothingness. And so his philosophy, Dhirigonda Prabhu's philosophy comes from a discernment approach. What very much resonates with Srila Prabhupada teaches, we are all diamond-like souls, we are all covered by dirt. So by providing a space for the diamond to
Prabhu,
discover, we can
your internet connection is not very, I don't know, maybe it's mine or but we are not able to hear you clearly. It's breaking up.
can you hear me?
No, not really, Prabhu. We really want to hear you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please carry
So what I
on.
was sharing is, specifically Dhir Govinda Prabhu, what he has done is, he is basically approaching a person from a diamond approach. Two type of philosophy in the personal transformation, mental healing, emotional release kind of a processes. So his approach is spiritual centric. His approach is centric, that by providing a safe space, by providing a trusted atmosphere, by providing that sacredness, by providing that external non-judgmental space, a soul has a power to heal itself. So basically what I understand is all his courses are spiritual based, in the sense that the highest process is to connect to yourself and then allow that energy to percolate in different aspects of your personality and allow it to heal it. And he has devised different type of a processes to enable that.
Can you
basically
repeat that? Can you repeat that, please?
what I was sharing is that there are two type of philosophies in the psychotherapist and in the person transformation world. One is to just imagine that you are a machine, treat you like a machine, and just do the processes and just make you like a very object kind of a thing, wherein his philosophy is very humanistic. There's a Carl Roger philosopher who has given this idea of humanistic and basically human potential movement he comes from, wherein they believes, specifically he believes that by accessing to the all spiritual qualities, we can remove all the negativity, we can remove all the emotional pain from our body. Parama system. The whole idea is to be able to access to your spiritual nature and to be able to bring those qualities out actively out, access to those qualities, so that whatever emotional challenges, whatever intellectual challenges, whatever physical pain you have, it is all released from there. It is all healed from that spiritual energy. The whole idea is to enable that, and he has devised different processes, different ways how to basically go within access to those qualities and make them more active, make them more present, and make them basically enabling those quality in you which you require right now for you to fight your whatever battle you're fighting in different areas.
I see. How does it work? I understand now what is he trying to do. How does it work like in practice?
In practice, how it works is he has a certain process known as contracting process. Let me give you this idea, contracting process, wherein contract means certain qualities which are innate within you, which you have, but because of certain maybe traumatic situation, because of certain parents issues, because of certain bullies, because of certain traumatic experiences, you have hidden those qualities. So now, because you have hidden those qualities, because you are not able to access to those qualities, so now create a safe container, safe space wherein you can start releasing those pain, which is like a releasing those blockages, which is kind of blocking your own soul shine. So, for example, if I'm just giving a hypothetical example, somebody feels, oh, I am unworthy, I am unlovable, because there's a core intellectual and irrational beliefs we all carry. I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm good for nothing, I'm a bad person. But intrinsically, soul is not unworthy. Intrinsically, soul is worthy of Krishna's love. Intrinsically, soul is not unlovable. Intrinsically, soul is lovable. Intrinsically, there is nothing happened to the soul. But because of the recording, what we keep playing in our mind, which has been given to us by our, we carry parents' legacy, we carry so many other legacy, so it blocks that. So now certain exercises, I cannot reveal the exercises, I have a confidentiality agreement with the courses, but there are certain exercises by which you can let go of all those blockages, and let go by creating that space, by creating that loving, caring and affectionate space wherein you are not treated like you're a traumatized person. You're treated, you have the potential, you have the power to heal yourself. And to that belief itself is very empowering. I believe in you, you as a spirit soul, I'm talking to you as a spirit soul, can become responsible for your life and can release all those trauma what you're carrying. So that is a most healing power, to believe in a certain person, to believe them as a soul. And then as a soul, when you believe them, then they, at least one person is reflecting the what they truly are. Everybody has been reflecting what you are really not. And then that's how the healing journey starts. That is one thing. Second thing is, it's a group process, so everybody support each other, because everybody is going through their own transformation journey, and the trust becomes even more deeper because everybody is vulnerable, everybody is revealing, everybody is kind of more open and more conscious, and kind of everybody is creating space for everyone. So it does not become a single person process, it becomes a group process. And that's where the real transformation begins. Then you can also start, we are all humans after all, and we share the common humanity, and we understand, okay, and when we are allowed to share our pains, our stories, our challenges, what we never share with anybody, then we receive that love, that care, that affection from everyone, and that is for everybody. So basically, if we have 10 people in the group, then 9 people are praying for you and you're praying for everyone. It's like that. So 9 people are supporting your process and you're supporting everyone's process. Sometimes I can also see myself in somebody else's process because there's a sort of a similarity. When we have some sort of a similarity, then it becomes even more powerful, because what I'm not able to access in me, there's a mirror in me wherein I can see, okay, this is what I'm facing. I was not able to verbalize it. I was not able to give words to that. I was not able to express that. Now that person is expressing same emotions. Awareness you become aware. That's the first step of really accepting and then ascending.
Mhm. Rupa Manjari, thank you, Prabhu. Rupa Manjari Mataji has her hand raised.
Yeah. Yes, Rupa Manjari Mataji.
Just one quick thing. There's a phrase in America, those who do not define themselves are doomed to be defined by others. So
Yeah.
that includes self-definition. If I say to myself, I'm not capable of something, boom, you aren't.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
capable. And if
Yeah.
you say, I am capable, then boom, your words create reality. So
Yeah.
language is what sets us apart from animals. Ability to communicate ideas, ability to conceive of a greater power than ourselves and our own five senses. So our brain, this is absolutely massive and is literally unlimited in potential to take in information, the human brain. So with that
Yeah.
understanding, there is no limit to what we can learn and understand, particularly if we look at history, things that have been buried and hidden and suppressed and distorted by so-called historians, people who did not want us to know the truth about what happened before we took birth here millions of years ago, thousands and thousands of years ago. There is so much knowledge out there that we do not know about, that we have been lied about, including our own potential. When we liberate ourselves from these chains, we can literally change the entire world, change the future of the human race for our kids, children's children, all the way down the line. We can do it. Don't believe the hype that we cannot. That's a lie.
Nitya Gopal Prabhu,
That's
respond.
Yeah. Basically, what Rupa Manjari is saying is that I'm reminded of a phrase: when a lie is being told long enough and loud enough, it becomes truth. And when the truth is being accepted by so many people, it becomes a culture, and it is being passed on like a tradition. And we all believe that. My mother was being told by her mother, "You're unworthy." The same thing she's telling to me, "You're unworthy." It's a lie. I've been hearing a lie from my mother. I've been hearing a lie from my father. I've been hearing a lie from my friends and from my society. So words are very powerful, as Rupa Manjari Mataji has explained, and it is all starts from words, because even spiritually, Sankhya Yoga speaks that words creates the whole creation. From sound comes all the subtle, all the gross elements. So even from the same sound, what we speak to ourselves and what we speak to other, it becomes a seed for your for your gross creation. And I mean, that's a whole idea about sound, how we express ourselves, how we communicate ourselves, and how do we speak to ourselves is a fundamental way by which we can change the whole experience of our life. Words, the way we speak to ourselves, the way we speak to other, it can change the whole experience shift, and it can make you feel empowered or it can make you feel victim. For example, if I say, "Oh, I have to do this," I have to do this means there's a sort of a burden, I don't have a choice. Or versus, "Oh, I get to do this," it has a more choice, it is more looking forward. I have to, it is like more pulling you down. One example. Second example could be, "I cannot say no to this person." When you say you cannot say no to this person, means intrinsically what you're saying is, I don't have a choice to say no. Versus, "Oh, I am not willing to say no to this person." You can say no, but you're not willing to. Now you have a choice, you feel empowered. I mean, each statement what we make, it creates a very different impact on our experience, and to tell us whether we are empowered, whether we have a choice, or whether we don't have a choice. So pretty much that's what I'm really appreciating Rupa Manjari's point, that how she was really bringing the essence out. The words are so powerful.
Mhm. Thank you very, very much, Prabhu. Is there anyone else, please, have any queries to put to Nitya Gopal Prabhu? Any points to make? Anyone else?
I just want to say that I like you, Nitya Gopal Prabhu. You are sensible, clear, and effective in your communication. And I encourage you to talk to many people about what you just said, because what you just said is completely true and helpful and needed for people to know.
Yeah.
Liberate others through knowledge. That's our job. That's our duty. That's what a Vaishnav does. They give
Yeah.
what they have. They don't keep it. They don't retain it. They don't exploit it and try to get money and followers, based on adulation. Oh, I'm so great. No, they're humble. Humility does not mean I'm a piece of shit. Humility means I care about the entire human race just as much as I care about myself and my family, because we are all one family. And that means when you take care of yourself, you automatically take care of everybody else. And when you take care of everybody else, you automatically take care of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling a lot of inspiration, a lot of encouragement from you, and I really believe that there's a so what you're basically presenting is the distinction between humility and humiliation. We can humiliate ourselves. Oh, I'm bad, I'm shit, I'm this, I'm that. That's different from humility. Prabhupada says we can be a lion but still be humble. A person could be like keep telling negative thing about themselves, but they deep within themselves they may not be humble. So a clear distinction. We may try to imitate great acharyas and imitate their mood, but that's their real humility. And when we say that, it becomes humiliation, because humility is rooted in reality, and the reality is I'm a spiritual being. But all of our languages, all of our expressions are as if we are the body and as if we are the mind, but we are not the mind, we are not the body. So that is coming. So darkness is the one which produces humiliation, because you think you are the body, you are the mind, and the goodness and the enlightenment creates humility, which is based on reality, that you're a spiritual being, you're disconnected from Krishna. That is your humility, that I want to again reconnect with the Lord. I really appreciate your distinction between humiliation and humility here.
Anyone else? Hare Krishna. Any points to be brought up to Nitya Gopal Prabhu? Especially relating to how to deal with trauma in the community? Any like personal issues, personal difficulties? How to, and especially Dhira Govinda Prabhu's program and his techniques, how can they help? You're on mute, Pradyumna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Bro. Just now, it is something what related. I just want to just like, bro, I am having some cough. Na? It is very from last 1 month. I have never had in my life like. But for that, na, I am taking medicine also, hot water. Na? But na, the thing is that na, just like chanting, in excuse of just for my, I have to understand that if I have some problem, I cannot skip that thing. So in that reference, I was telling that the thing is that I have to continue that thing. That is my chanting. I cannot stop chanting. By doing that, it will gradually. I can take precautions, but ultimately, thing is that we have to. Ultimate solution is that Krishna consciousness. This we have to understand, which will keep us that we are not this body gradually. That I was you were telling me that we have to take care of body also, just like we are not in we are in bodily concept, but somehow we understand that that yeah we have to lead like this then gradually ultimately what just like problem mental problem, there is no other solution, just like you were telling Ayurvedic, yeah there may be something, but from the timing, just like in Jaipur also there is a Ayurvedic is very nice Veji Madan Shankarji. So he gives medicine for I think for 1 month or 2 months. So nobody is able to continue that thing, and not able to continue because that Ayurvedic medicine they will take time. So the living the everybody is living is in such a way that they are not able to so much perfectly. They can take the precaution everything. So the ultimately yeah we have to take that also, but yeah we have to keep that consciousness, because ultimately mind body and intelligence, that is consciousness. So that Krishna consciousness, what I want to say that
I mean,
how to understand.
no, that's all good. And the point is we kind of sometimes minimize the disease nature of the that the subtle body can also become diseased, just like the gross body becomes diseased, and we are able to recognize because we are so grossly we see, generally all of us that we trying to only see the disease of the gross body, and we don't recognize that there can be a disease of the subtle body too. and then we don't see, then we think, oh, this person is crazy, instead of thinking the soul is independent of that disease, and the mind is diseased, so this mind is causing this thing, so that person needs professional help from a profession, just like any doctor, physical doctor will fix the problem of the physical body, and then also the support system, like we were discussing, for physical disease are there is just, devotees help here, there, and service, and everything is around, so that that disease can be cured under the doctor. Similarly, the subtle body also, so which could include, the doctor can say, a devotee doctor would say, chant, that's the most important cure. Plus do this also, lifestyle also, you little bit change, you go away from these people, so many things they can they can say to them, and they say, you chant and take shelter of Krishna, and then you get the power to cure yourself. So all these are part and parcel of curing the subtle body too. And then the community would support that, understanding that there is a difference between soul and the subtle body, just like there's a difference between soul and the gross body. Then the community also should support that while that is happening. That's all there is to it. What do you think, Nitya, Gopal Prabhu?
I think you have beautifully presented the point that Prabhupada says that first is health, second is chanting, third is service, fourth is sadhana. So the health also include the subtle emotional health. So let's say, for example, if I broke my hand, would somebody suggest me, okay, you should only chant, you should not go to doctor and fix your hand? If I have some, so let's say I have, my hand is broken, doctor, people will say, go to orthopedic, get it fixed, and then you chant. Similarly, when we can easily see that we can have our hand broken, but it's very difficult for us to see that we can also be emotionally broken. And that is not very much accepted in our society, especially society. We think, oh, only have to chant. But no, you have to chant, but your energy has been exhausted in just suppressing that emotional need. Your energy has been just there to holding on to prove something what you are not. And real devotional life starts from honesty. If you are not honest, and if I am not honest, if I am not really showing who I am really am and what's happening inside me, then there's no point of grudge of having a real devotional progress. I'm it like a shadow bhakti then. I'm just trying to shadow my pain, emotional pain, and what comes out of shadow pain is shadow bhakti, and that is not, we want to transcend it. One thing, a devotional explanation. And second thing is, Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita about weeds. They're all different weeds we have, and unless we take care of these weeds consciously, unless we become aware of what's happening within, and we consciously pluck them out, then there is no opportunity for the real bhakti root to absorb those chanting and hearing. So chanting and hearing, yes, it's the most powerful process. At the same time, anartha nivritti is my process. And no matter how many years, how many lifetime we chant unconsciously, the chanting will not bring that benefit what it promises, because we also need to do our effort. And our effort is at least start becoming aware that I am not, become aware that what is my current emotional reality, and accept it, and then move on. And yes, there is no doubt that chanting has that power. At the same time, we are not allowing that chant power to fall into that area of my life which needs it. When we become humble, the grace flows there. When we become vulnerable, it's an opportunity for me to accept that grace. Unless I become vulnerable, unless I'm open, where is the opportunity for that grace to flow in that area of my life? If I'm, my hand is wounded, if it is been covered, I am not allowing it to be seen by the sunlight and by the air and by the natural healing medicines, it will not have that potency. First of all, it need to be opened up, it need to be shown, so that the grace can flow there. I mean, that's what I can say in that area, in that particular point.
Yeah, Nitya Gopal Prabhu, just like, yeah, you are right that just like my hand or something, which, yeah, just like na, particularly I was, yeah, just like mind, na, mind. there is nothing like mind medicine. There can be in the past ages, but right now that cannot be applicated right now. But ultimately what a psychiatrist or what that person will suggest, that will suggest by a devotee friend, just chant, okay, be peaceful like this. But ultimately that for mind, at least I'm saying subtle, this mind, body and intelligence, subtle body, there is for we have to take this thing only. I just, my point was that.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate your distinction, Prabhu, that you're saying that chanting, if we become aware of, ultimately that what will work is chanting. So, if we really study the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I always used to think why first chapter of the Gita exists in the first place. It doesn't make any sense to me because Krishna starts speaking from second chapter. What is the first chapter? Then I start realizing that first chapter is the most important chapter, in one of the most important chapter, because Arjuna is sharing, Arjuna is explaining her vulnerable situation. Arjuna is saying, if you read the Arjuna's word, he's not hiding his pain from Krishna. He's saying, my mind is reeling. And he has emotional response to the situation. He has physical response to the situation. Physically, he was trembling. He was crying, and he was not able to hold his Gandiva. Emotionally, he was expressing, I'm feeling very lost. I'm feeling very grief. I cannot stand there. He was expressing his emotions, and then he also shared his intellectual pain. He was giving different justification why he should not fight. He gave four fundamental reasons why he should not fight. So to his situation, his body was responding, his emotions were responding, his intellect was responding. And then after hearing Arjuna, he did not disrespect him. Oh, he did not say after the first, oh, Arjuna, you're a full number one. You're not the body, you're spirit soul. Yes, Krishna said that. But after hearing every statement of Arjuna, Krishna provided that safe space. Krishna provided that silence. Krishna provided that healing modality. Just be present with Arjuna's pain, so that Arjuna was in a position to accept Krishna's guidance. So if Krishna would have started speaking in the first chapter, I'm not sure what would be, I'm sure that Arjuna, being a pure devotee, would still have been able to transcend it. But for us, he was sharing that Guhyam Akhyati Prachati is very important. That is the instruction of Rupa Goswami, that we reveal confidentially, we hear confidentially. And that is what exactly Krishna was saying. Krishna was doing. Krishna was hearing all the pains, difficulties, challenges, all the whatever justification Arjuna was giving, he was hearing in a silence. And then he was able to transcend Arjuna. So the first step, what even Krishna did not follow, was to become aware of Arjuna's reality, right? So we also have to become our own, we have to become our, or we get to become aware of our own reality. What is my real situation? And it could mean different thing for different people. We are not Arjuna that we can finish that in first chapter in 1 hour. It may take some time, and then slowly, then from there we transcend to spiritual reality. Otherwise it completely becomes spiritual bypassing or illusion of transcendence. Oh, I know I'm spirit soul, but deep within I still have that resentment toward that person. Still I feel angry towards my boss. Still I feel angry toward the devotee. Still I'm not able to let go of that specific desire within myself. I may say I am a spirit soul, at the same time I still continue to have that, harbor those angry feeling toward other devotee. Why? Isn't it contradictory? If it is in light, then there should not be no darkness. If it is darkness, means we're just thinking there is light, but there is not light. There's difference between thinking light and actually being light. So what all we do is we think we are a spiritual being, but we don't feel we are a spiritual being. That's a disconnect here.
Yeah, that I got it. But my point was that just like see the practicality. I have some mental problem. Just like I'm in a farm, I think, oh, Nitya Gopal Prabhu is progressing so nicely, or some other problem mental. So what will be the approach? Just now we come to the only thing is that the medicine or that thing I have to go. Apart from that, what is my realization? I am body or soul. But think what will be my approach? Yeah, okay, I will take medicine, okay, that's it. But ultimately that a mental, the subconsciousness, that can be improved by only this. I'm just telling that chanting, not chanting only, this whole process, living in the society of devotees, that thing I was telling, just like mental problem. So what will be our approach? Okay, that's you are telling that nice thing. We have do not have that realization that I am this, I am not body, I am spirit, soul. But yeah, we are. What will you approach if you have any mental problem? Just practically, if we see.
I mean, I'm really appreciating your honesty right now that you're just wondering and in a place of curiosity and wonderment that what should be the approach, how we should take it forward, how we should really heal as a devotee and not let our emotional pain come in the way of devotional progress. I'm really appreciating your honesty here, Pradyumna Prabhu. So that's what our process is. I mean, today we just started raising awareness about it, and that's what I feel is a great success. At least we are becoming open to it now. That we also can have some challenges what other people have. We also have that shared humanity. We can, because everybody have same emotional landscape, different situations. I may feel angry towards certain situations. Other person can feel angry towards some other situation. We all experience anger after all. We all experience lust. We all experience greed. We have same experiences but in different situations. So now how to take care of it? That's the, I mean, journey. We just are discussing about it, and going forward maybe we can have some workshops, some sessions, some modules which we can cover and start empowering ourselves to how to actually start becoming, how to equip ourselves with those tools so that we can integrate with our spiritual practices and we can become more solid practitioners.
Yeah.
Leo Prabhu, would you like to say something?
Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna, Leo.
Dandavas pranams. Of course, Srila Prabhupada. I really don't have much input, just based upon, I guess, the whole discussion. It was very interesting, and just in regards to community, it's really basing it off of everything as a group of individuals, and to reach out, it should be all individualized as a community. As a community is to thrive, and it's really a support system, as you were saying, in different ways, um, different paths of lives. Just like people, if they join a community, it's for a reason. In a spiritual community, as Krishna consciousness, there's always the four the four types of people that join that type of spiritual community, and one of the main ones is disturbances. So um, it's also like a spiritual clinic in a sense, and there's always going to be people who assist based upon the prescription that Srila Prabhupada has provided. So that's really like the premise of it, and it's really a lot what Nitya Gopal does has provided the information. It has a strong foundation to it, and there's many instances where, as trauma, addiction, different abnormalities, elements, as just like whether it comes down to drug abuse, alcoholism, sexual abuse, and other type of stuff going around. But so I remember also Prabhupada speaking on just like the having the discipline. Not everybody will have the discipline. Like he would talk about sex control, sex urges. It's like a it's like a itch. It will go away if you don't pay attention to it. But then what if that itch, if you compare it to the material bodies like eczema, it flares up to to that individual as a different way than the common way. So the application would be different. So it's really, for me, I guess a question I would ask is um for souls who are on the path, and they have these you could say these setbacks, these anarthas, which is the reason why they came to Krishna consciousness. And the chanting, it it does provide
definitive assistance, but what other, I don't know if this was asked before because I've been on and off multitasking on my end, but what are other methods? Like I've looked into like chitta cleanse where it deals with, you know, the subconscious and really dealing with what Nimai Pandit Prabhu was saying with the subtle body. And if there is damage to the subtle body, how to repair it or heal it. I know I said a lot, I'm sorry, but I was just, you know, that's just something that popped into the mind because when it comes down to, you could say ISKCON or you know, the methodology dealing with these type of situations, trauma and addiction especially, there really isn't like institutions for that, even outside of ISKCON.
Nitya Gopal Prabhu, would you like to address any of these?
I mean, I'm just really appreciating the awareness what we are raising right now here. And the most important thing I feel is that, I mean, it all goes back to the story what we hear about Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve, when the God says, "Oh, you should not eat this, you know, this apple, forbidden apple," but anyways, he ate that. Adam, Eve ate that, and when he came, when the Lord came, he said, "Oh, this Eve told me to eat it. She enticed me." And then he says, "Oh, why did you keep the apple in the first place? It's your mistake, God." I mean, he goes into this kind of a circle. So basically, the idea is Adam didn't take the responsibility that it was his mistake. He misused his free will. He misused his choice fundamentally, and he just start blaming the Eve. He start blaming the God himself. That's a fundamental mistake we made in the spiritual world to take that decision to come to this world. And now and that's create a guilt in us because we have a deep spiritual guilt in all of us, and that's need to be treated before actually we can grow spiritually if we really go into the core of it. So unless we accept, yes, I did a mistake, but at the same time Lord is unlimitedly forgiving. He's willing to forgive my mistake. So when we start taking responsibility for my own mistake, for my own situation, for my own mental situation, for my own physical situation, it is me who created it. It is me who co-created it with the help of universe, with the help of flow of karma. It is my choice. It is my choice. I have made the choice to be here where I'm right now. So unless we go to the fundamental point, it is me who made the choice, then we also realize, oh, I have a power to redo it. I have a power to make a right choice right now. But if you keep blaming everybody, my mom is a problem, my boss is a problem, my authority is a problem, everybody is a problem, but not me. That's a fundamental blaming attitude. All of us, I think, at least I have that blaming attitude. I keep blaming my health, I keep blaming my mental health, I keep blaming karma. Deep within, I keep blaming everybody and not take that responsibility. So that is important part of what Dhiruvanda Prabhu does is to help a devotee take the radical personal responsibility. 100% radical responsibility. I am responsible of my life. I am responsible for my devotional life right now. I'm responsible for my spiritual life. I'm responsible for my health. I'm responsible for my mental health, whatever it is. And then now I want to take support of holy name. I want to take support of Krishna. I want to take support of Srila Prabhupada teachings, how to make right choices right now. And then slowly start shifting around. That's a very fundamental thing of any personal transformation, moving from victim consciousness to responsible consciousness. And that is, I mean, that's the most powerful shift a person can have, and the experience is completely different altogether.
Mhm. Okay. Wonderful. So I think we are past the time, but thank you very much because it was such an important discussion to have. Bharat Prabhu started it off, and then you took over one by one, all by the mercy of Dhira Govinda Prabhu. Both are trained from him. And so thank you very much, Prabhu, for coming and explaining, and all the devotees for sharing their deepest felt thought processes around this. I feel like this is a topic which is, I think every month we should, 1 week we should just devote on this topic, how to take care of ourselves, responsible consciousness, take care of others simultaneously, thinking the soul and two bodies on top of us, and trying to distinguish between, so that we hate the sin, not the sinner consciousness to develop. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to live together, husband, wife, with even with oneself. What to speak of with close knit family, and then outside without this thinking.
Can I
But
say something?
Mataji,
The way that I live my life is that every single thing that I do, word that I say, every time I clean my kitchen, every time I cook a meal, every time I engage in a conversation with another human being, every time I pet Sama's dog, every time I have a thought, I always think, is this pleasing to God? Is this worthy of Him? Does He like? Does He appreciate? Is He pleased? That is what I think. If everybody were to do that, how an amazing of a world would we have, where every person seeks for personal highest top achievement in every department of their lives, excellence in every department. That means every man and woman is a Renaissance man and a Renaissance woman, fully developed in all areas of life, which is easily done because of the incredible complexity and intelligence of the human brain. We can learn anything. We can master anything. We can become artists, craftsmen, engineers, programmers, scientists, and of course, like astronomers, astrologers, genuine mystics, not charlatans, but people who can actually understand the cosmic display which Krishna has arranged on purpose. So there's so many different arts and sciences, so many different things that we have no clue about because we're living in a slave system which gives you this much actual knowledge and like boatloads of BS about pretty much everything. Once we become liberated to the real Vedic knowledge, which is absolutely incalculably massive, all the bases will be covered. That's all I have to say.
thank you, Mata. Thank you very much. Your contributions are always so heartfelt and raw, but powerful, always. And always a very valuable member of our association. We'll keep continuing on. Hey, Pranavalla Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Pankaj Prabhu. Pankaj.
Oh, Pankaj Prabhu. Oh, brother. Okay. Pankaj Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe. Yes.
Hare Krishna, how are you, bro?
How are you, Prabhu? Very good to
Nice.
see you here. Mhm. Do you have anything to contribute, Prabhu?
नहीं bro, ठीक है.
Or you're always ठीक है, huh? Since I've known you. All right. Thank you very much, Prabhus and Mataji, for coming through today. And we will continue this discussion later on. But next week, we will take up another topic and we will discuss on that topic. But this is a continuing topic. Let's not forget this topic. Okay. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Oh.